Hi, my name is Jacy Curtis. I'll be doing my presentation on sexual health, which includes sexually transmitted diseases and prevention methods for that. My target population is high school students ages 15 to 16 in a high school classroom setting. We will talk about the different types of sexually transmitted diseases and ways of prevention. And here's my presentation.
The focus of this presentation is to be able to define what sexually transmitted diseases or infections are. Also, to be able to name the different types of sexually transmitted diseases along with their signs and symptoms, as well as being able to name the pros and cons of the different types of prevention methods that are available. The objective of this lesson is that by the end of the lesson that students will be able to define what a sexually transmitted disease or infection is. They will have a greater understanding of the different symptoms for each sexually transmitted diseases, if the disease has any symptoms at all. And at the end of the lesson, they will participate in a class discussion that the students will be able to answer questions that the teacher asked or ask questions of their own of things that they did not understand. When the teacher begins her lesson, she will thoroughly explain all the differences in the sexually transmitted diseases and tell each student what the symptoms are for each disease and talk about the different types of prevention. This part of the class will last about 15 minutes to give them a general overview of what they need to know and understand. At this point, after the lecture is over, the students will get into groups and come up with a matching game that matches the sexually transmitted diseases with their signs and symptoms. The students will work in groups, which will help the interpersonal type of learners. That it builds team building, and it allows the students to talk amongst themselves about what they were just taught by the teacher. And it gives them an opportunity to talk with their peers about things that they think about it and how they feel, and allows them to work together. At this point, students will be told to individually make a list of all the different types of preventions and methods. They will be asked to make a list of the pros and cons for each method and say why they think that they're pros and cons. This is useful for the logical learners because making lists really helps them compartmentalize what they're learning, and it puts it right in front of them so they can visualize it, so that they have a greater understanding of what they are learning. At this point, after the activities are done, the teacher will have them participate in a class discussion about the list that they come up with the different pros and cons of prevention, and show their group matching game to the class so that everybody can have a greater understanding, and it's just kind of reiterating what the teacher wants each student to learn. The next part is the question and answer section of the lesson. This allows the teacher to ask the questions that she needs to know that the students learned and understood, and it also allows the students to ask questions of things that they might not have made a full grasp on, and it just allows the whole class to participate. The first question that the teacher will ask the students is, what is a sexually transmitted disease or infection? She'll be looking for an answer along the lines of that it's an infection that is transmitted through sexual contact, whether it be oral or vaginal or any other form of sexual contact. The next question that the teacher will ask is, what are the non-curable sexually transmitted diseases and what are the curable sexually transmitted diseases? For the non-curable, she will be looking for an answer such as HIV, AIDS, or herpes, and for the curable, she'll be looking for gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia. The next question that the teacher will ask will be, what are the symptoms of certain sexually transmitted diseases? She will be looking for students to be able to fully describe what the causes or the symptoms are for each different sexually transmitted diseases. For example, like herpes causes blisters, and chlamydia is more just of a discharge. And she's also looking for them to pick up on that some sexually transmitted diseases do not have any signs or symptoms at all, but that if they go untreated, that they can cause serious health issues. The next question the teacher would ask would be, what are some different types of prevention methods that you can use to prevent yourself from getting sexually transmitted diseases. She's looking for abstinence as an answer or condom use, and she wants the students to be able to name the different pros and cons, if there are any, for each prevention method. And she also wants to pick up on that birth control for females is not a prevention method for sexually transmitted diseases, only for pregnancy. And after that, the students would be able to ask questions of things that they did not understand, and it would give the teacher a time to see what the students are most interested in learning about the topic and where she needs to focus on more so that they can gain a greater understanding of the topic. Getting this information out there to the youth of today is very important. In 2011, the Department of Health stated that there were approximately 16,054 new cases of chlamydia, 4,691 new cases of gonorrhea, and 349 new cases of early stages of syphilis in the state of Arkansas alone. A majority of those people were adolescents and young adults ranging from the ages of 15 to 24. And the number of sexually transmitted diseases tends to range differently from year to year, but it is estimated that there's approximately 499 million of new cases of curable STDs that occur annually worldwide. We need to get this number down, and that's why it's important to get this information out and not just teach abstinence only. We can't just sit around and think that teaching students that abstinence only is the best way to go about prevention. They need to know their choices and their options and what they're dealing with. In the United States alone, there's approximately 20 million new infections every year. The statistics accounts for the 8 most common, which are chlamydia, gonorrhea, hepatitis B, herpes simplex virus type 2, and HIV and HPV, syphilis, and trichomonas. With the number of people that contract a sexually transmitted disease, the cost of healthcare is detrimental. In the United States alone, it costs a total of approximately $16 billion annually. If we could just turn around even just Central Arkansas alone, which has the highest number of sexually transmitted diseases in Arkansas, we could decrease those health care costs for everybody in the state and in the United States as a whole. We can't just keep acting like students aren't having sex and aren't being sexually active with more than just one partner, because in today's time, sex is everywhere. It's on the news, it's on the TV, they talk about it in music and on the internet, and students are getting their information poorly from the things that they hear rather than getting actual information that could help prevent them from getting pregnant or contracting a sexually transmitted disease and spreading it to more than one person without even knowing it, because many sexually transmitted diseases have no signs or symptoms for a really long time. Herpes is one that can stay stagnant, and you never really know that you have it until that one day that you get an outbreak. So we can't sit around and think that our students and our children and everyone in school and high school are not going to be sexually active. We could hope that they're not, but we have to do our part to make sure that they have the best information and know what to do in certain situations, and so that they do not come home and have to tell their parents that they need to go to the doctor because they're pregnant or think they have a sexually transmitted disease. The first step is prevention, and we can all do our part to make sure that we are taking care of the next generation and decreasing the amount of sexually transmitted diseases, not only in Arkansas, but nationwide and worldwide.